Would you label yourself as misunderstood sometime?
Yes, of course. At all times, I'm misunderstood at all times. You know, she just misunderstood me.
Yeah.
Misunderstood.
Before Young Thug announced to the world that he would be running for President of the United States of America with Gunna on the ballot as his VP. Before Thugger would meet J. Cole and Travis Scott at the London for the highest charting single of his career as the leading artist. Before he would get cosigns from a diverse group of musical talents from Andre 3000 to Kanye West and even Elton John. Before Young Thug would change his name to Jeffrey and then change his name to Sex before changing it back to Young Thug.
Jesus.
Before Young Thug announced that he was taking a year off of music in honor of his deaf brother, before releasing Slime Language later that year. The guy is hard to keep up with. And before he would have more than 3.6 million followers on Twitter, more than 775K followers on Instagram, and over 3.6 million subscribers on YouTube.
I did this. I got crucified. They called me gay. They ain't call y'all gay. They called me gay. I made you tighten your jeans up, nigga.
Young Thug has become an icon, not just in music, but in fashion, and no matter how you feel about the guy, one thing that you can't deny is that he's never been afraid to be himself.
Like people that literally live for dressing, gonna always understand me. And I want to bring out just, you know, like the encouragement to young people that want to do it, but kind of scared to do it, you know what I'm saying?
And his impact has been felt throughout the music industry, from his flows, to the way he uses auto-tune, to his sound, and even hip-hop's newest superstar, Lil Nas X, would have you know that Young Thug is the actual creator of country trap. And based on this recent tweet, it looks like we might still get the remix that Young Thug has to Old Town Road. I personally don't think it's too late. Thugger came up in Atlanta from a large family and spent 4 years in a youth detention center where he mastered his flow. But shortly after, he had a baby on the way and no money. So how did he make it from struggling to pay for a meal to the top of the charts? Well, you clicked on the right video. What's going on, good people in the comment section? My name is Jeremy Hecht. I hope you're having one heck of a day. And today I'll be taking you through the life and amazing, magnificent career of Young Thug. If you're new here, I'm the LA host for this channel. And if you know that's where to push. Let us know who you want to see next in the comments down below. And I'll try to read as many as possible and reply to you guys if I can. Or hit me up on Instagram. My @ name should be here or here, one of the two. But before we start, I got a question for you. What is the most amount of money Young Thug has lost while gambling? Stick around until the end for the answer. Leave your guesses in the comments down below. Now let's get into it.
Before they're famous.
Before they were famous.
They were famous about.
That was a pretty good video.
I like this guy.
Look, Freddie, you did a great job.
Michael is never wrong.
So damn, that was cool. How did he know that? Whoa!
Jeffrey Lamar Williams was born on August 16, 1991 in Atlanta in Zone 3. Other famous alumni from the neighborhood include Waka Flocka, 2 Chainz, and Ludacris.
You know, we had a lot of geniuses. We had a lot of superstars and pop star rappers that came, you know, well, rap pop stars, like street pop stars.
And while the company in the alumni chapter might be good, the circumstances were very difficult for young Jeffrey, growing up in Section 8 housing as the 10th of 11 siblings. And while his mother had multiple baby daddies, Jeff's dad, who was named Big Jeff, unsurprisingly, was always there to take care of him.
Me and my little sister, the last two, and we got the same dad. And my dad and my mom was together probably like 5, 6, 7 years before they even had me. So I always, you know, big props to my dad, you know, and he never left my side. He always, you know, he was always there too.
And in the Jonesboro neighborhood, circumstances were tough. If struggling to make ends meet wasn't hard enough, his mother was dealing with heart problems, and Thug witnessed one of his older brothers die right in front of him. He also saw another one of his brothers go to jail for murder. These are the circumstances that raised Thug and molded his perception of the world. This was taking a toll on him, and Thugger wasn't the best of students at school, often getting into fights with the other kids.
Hard to say this man stole his swag. No.
Hey, Jill, how you say he do it?
Hold on. Let me wind it out. Let me wind it out.
Hey, Papa, get on this nigga.
Hold on.
A weird fact about Thug is that he rarely ate real food. This could of course have been due to lack of money, but it's rumored that he continues to eat nothing but gummy worms and Funyuns on a daily basis.
I always had like a weird dress code since a kid though. So it ain't nothing that just
It ain't nothing just that just happened.
Thug always had a love for women's clothing, but at first it wasn't just a fashion thing. He was always tall and skinny and found that women's jeans fit him better. But with his dad refusing to buy him a pair of skinny pants, he had to find his own way to cop the new fit. He turned to robbing people for money and even robbed 5 grand from a nail salon. But rather than buy a new outfit, he gambled it all away on a game of dice the next day. Also, I hope that he's repaid that nail salon now that he has millions. I feel like it would only be right.
It can be really thuggish to have nails and wear a dress and don't give a f. That's a really thuggish, like, it's punk.
Yeah, punk rock.
Thugger was placed in juvenile detention center for 4 years because he broke his teacher's arm. I wonder what the teacher did to deserve that, but must have been saying something pretty bad. Instead of middle school, Thug spent his time from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the correctional facility, but it was in juvie that he worked on his musical abilities. He would practice his flow daily, and by the time he was set to get out, he could really rap. After he got out, he continued to live recklessly though, but this time it resulted in his first child when he was just 17. In 2010, he started recording his music for real and dropped the mixtape I Came From Nothing. Although if you listen back, this was an auto-tuneless Thug that sounded more like Lil Wayne than T-Pain, and his flows and punchlines were much more audible and understandable. This was no mumble rap, but that same star quality that keeps Thug interesting to watch today existed back then, and his friend Pee Wee Longway recognized it too. He even got him in the room with Gucci Mane.
I don't understand how, I don't know how he got onto me. I just know I got a call one day, and it was Pee Wee Longway. So he was like, let's pull up on Guap. So we pulled up on him, he like, what up? So we just chopping it, we just chilling. We really just was chilling. We wasn't even rapping, we was at the studio though, but we wasn't even rapping, we was like smoking.
So apparently they were all hanging out when Gucci threw on some beats, and Thug says he started rapping and kept flowing, and Gucci was impressed. Gucci was a prolific, and always has been a prolific recorder, known for his abundance of tracks that he's able to record every night, and Thug was the same way, so Gucci was impressed. Gucci went to jail shortly after the two met though, so Thugger looked after a studio for him.
When he went to jail, he was locked up for like 9 months. I just was in the studio every day. So I guess that built the trust because it was like he had so much stuff. He had cars, clothes, money, he had everything, jewelry there. And I was there for the whole year, you know what I'm saying?
In that time period, he recorded what he says was around 5,000 songs and released the next 2 mixtapes in the I Came From Nothing series. And when he says 5K songs were recorded, that honestly seems realistic for Thug. When Gucci came home, or the clone version of Gucci at least, we're still not sure, he signed Thug to a deal with 1017 Records. Although Gucci tells the story differently. He told XXL that he signed Thug without ever hearing his music, stating, Pee Wee is like Gucci, listen, they hard. They're the ones who got me to start rapping, sign them. I had a bag with some money and it got 25,000 out and I signed Thug right there. Never even heard a song from him. I value Pee Wee's opinion so much. And it paid off. Thugger also inked a deal with Lear Cohen's former label 300 and began to be managed by Birdman. Thug began to blow up with his 2013 songs Stoner and Danny Glover, and from there, he's never looked back. He was a part of the dynamic Rich Gang duo with his former friend turned foe Rich Homie Quan, and their song Lifestyle became a massive smash in 2014. He followed that up with songs like Best Friend in 2015, which is one of my personal favorite Young Thug songs and videos. What's your favorite Young Thug song? What do you guys like? Video, song, mixtape, album, let me know in the comments down below. Thug also got into a little spat with his former inspiration Lil Wayne after dropping an album called Barter 6 right around the time that Wayne was having label trouble releasing his album Carter 5. So, I mean, I understand why Wayne would have been pissed.
So before I go any further, I want y'all to understand that there's only one mother Carter you need.
But despite the drama, Thug has continued to put out consistently dope music. From his Slime series to singles like Pick Up the Phone with Travis Scott and Quavo, Thug has always kept his name in the conversation. In terms of his family, Thug has 6 children of his own, so it looks like he's going to have a really big family also. And most recently, he looks like he's ready to have a great summer with his girl. Since then, we have seen a few different Young Thug rebrands, including the My Name is Jeffrey campaign and his attempt to change his name to Sex. But inevitably, it always comes back to Thugger, and I'm excited to see what he does next. I feel like he's finally about to reach the level that he's been hoping to get to and been climbing towards. J. Cole recently continued his run of giving dominating features when he contributed a verse to Young Thug's The London, making it Thug's highest charting single as a lead artist. Plus, he just got on Post Malone's newest single, and knowing how Posty performs on the charts, I have a feeling he'll have himself a #1 single as a featured artist very soon. So will we see another name change? Will we see a switch in his sound? Will we see more game-changing fashion statements? I have a feeling that the answer is yes to all of the above, but I guess we'll have to wait and see because this is Before They Were Famous. I do know that Thug has no problem with taking risks though, so I hope he doesn't blow too much of his money because apparently one night he lost $100K with LeBron James. We still don't know exactly what they were doing, what they were betting on, how it happened, but there's your answer to the question from the beginning of the video. I'm Jeremy Hecht, and I've been making tons of videos for this channel, so be sure to check out some other ones I did. I did one on DaBaby, Lil Nas X, Megan Thee Stallion, City Girls, and a lot more. So let me know who you want me to cover next in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the video. Dream good, live better. Let me know what you think of Thug and what you think of his career trajectory and where you think he's going next. And we'll definitely have to do another updated version on Thug in the future. But dream good, live better. No one else has told you today. I love you. I hope you have one heck of a day, and I'll see you in the next video.